Hi, my name is Floyd Marinescu, and like many of you, I watched with concern as we see these videos of hundreds of police removing hundreds or even thousands of homeless people who had set up in tent cities around Canada. What are these people doing in tent cities in the parks? You could see them as exercising their traditional ancestral rights to live within something called the commons, common land. Land, traditionally among many human cultures, was held in common. People could hunt, fish, wherever they want, got together and farmed land together. Land was free and they could use it as they see fit. People owned the homes and the results of the profit of their work, but no one could really own land. And then we had, over many hundreds of years in Europe, many parts of the world, the nobility class, the landowners, took this land. This is called the enclosure movement, slowly took more and more of the land until there was nothing left for common people to live on. So that forced common people to have to get jobs and work for the man, work for the nobility. Not just workers, but capitalists alike, business owners, all had to pay rent or work for the nobility who owned the land and were profiting at the expense of workers and business owners alike. Because of this, the average person became much poorer than they were traditionally. They had to work harder and longer, paying the results of their work to the local noble who wasn't often paying taxes in whatever kingdom they were in. This is called a feudal land system. Today we live in a modern version of this where all land has been privatized. That is why the basic income advocates traditionally for the last tens and hundreds of years have seen basic income as a right, not as a social program, as a right, as compensation to all for loss of the commons, compensation for loss of something that we always had, which was the right to subsist, to exist on our own terms without having to work for someone else. And one of the means to offer that compensation traditionally was called a land value tax or a land use levy. People who use land, as Thomas Paine, one of the co-founders of America, proposed, if you're using land, you're taking from someone else, because where are they going to live once it's all privatized? This happened to our First Nations in Canada. If you use land, you should pay a tax for it. That money should go into a fund. I mean, it's not really a tax, it's a levy for use. If you're using something, then you pay to use it. That money would go into a fund and would pay everyone a UBI, so that people who are existing in a system where all land has been privatized can still exist. They can afford to go rent and live somewhere else. So we have lost the traditional commons. We have lost the rights to subsist. So basic income is seen as a rightful way to compensate for that loss. And naturally, since land is the source of this problem, land could also be part of the solution through a land use levy, a land value tax. So next time you see homeless people on the street, another point of view is they're just exercising their right to live and access the commons wherever they can find it.